Please welcome the head of multi-channel infrastructure at IKEA Group, Mats Johansson, and Akamai's VP of Product Marketing, Ari Weil.
So, hi and welcome to the CDN at IKEA session. But I would kind of say edge now after being told so many times that it's not only the CDN. My name is Mats Johansson, so I am currently head of infrastructure for multi-channel at IKEA. It includes API management. It includes more or less all the backends for web operations. It includes customer master, warehouse orchestration, and so on. But I'm keeping myself busy into the edge because it's the future for us, I would say. And with me, I have a friend as well.
Yeah, I'm Ari Weil. I run product marketing here for Akamai, so I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, analysts that we've talked to about this very topic, business leaders who I know are dealing with this in their own offices, and I think Mats has a really interesting story to share with you, so I'm just kind of here to bring some of your perspectives actually into the talk before we do Q&A at the end.
Okay, so this will be kind of a storytelling which hopefully can inspire retailers and others as well to organize yourself in order to be flexible against the new needs that are coming from product teams, especially that want to do all of the things themselves. So we have a way to fix that, hopefully. You start by presenting IKEA as well. So I'm part of IKEA Group, which is a strategic partner to IKEA. We are an IKEA retailer in 30 countries. We take care of roughly 800 million visits to the stores, 2.3 billion visits to IKEA.com. And we share, as all other retailers in the franchise set up, the vision to create a better everyday life for the many people. So here's more like an explanation as well that we are a partner to IKEA. So we don't own the brand. It's owned by IKEA. And IKEA is the name of our founder, Ingvar Kamprad. He founded IKEA in 1943. Yes. So we have divided IKEA Group into 3 pieces. So I'm focusing on the middle today, the IKEA retail business, where I'm part of a function called the Group Digital, where we are providing edge capabilities then to all websites in the IKEA world. We also, of course, then are focusing on our own business as a retailer for these 30 countries. Creating new customer-facing solutions all the time. We have a really successful rollout of a new front-end solution based on Edge Side Include and net storage, which we are really, really happy about. Really have succeeded with a microservice implementation. The other leg is the IKEA centers. We actually are doing shopping centers as well in Europe, China, and Russia, which is also anchored by an IKEA store. And then the third leg is the IKEA investments, where we are trying now to make really good investments to secure that we are minimizing the gap with our customers. Because we're going from, in the stores, you have self-service, you have to do everything your own. But in digital world, we need to provide services. So we actually procured a company called TaskRabbit in order to provide assembly service. You don't have to do all the assembly of our furniture yourself if you don't want to.
What's the fun in that? So I have a question for you, actually. So this is an interesting graphic, and we've had the benefit of going through some quarterly business reviews with IKEA. Despite the fact that this looks like a hierarchy, you're actually providing services that give all of your franchisees across the globe autonomy in how they manage their websites. So it's a challenging sort of an environment because you don't have just a natural language and currency translation for IKEA. They actually get to make whatever decisions they want to for their own individual storefronts.
Absolutely. So we kind of provide the templates, of course, and we provide some rules and requirements, but all the markets are having their own business, so they have their own retail organization and their own marketing. But But we are right now changing it, so we actually are implementing digital leadership in all the countries, which is kind of matching the global one. So we'll have new interfaces, how to interact, I would say, and also to grow the business together. But it's a challenging thing because we want the countries to take decisions which is helping them to sell more in their country, to be more relevant in that country. They have their own ecosystem, especially in China, for example. So we don't want to limit them too much. We don't want to have too much global governance. But we need it for example, the Akamai experience. We really try to provide standard patterns for everyone.
That's great.
Okay. So right now, as many of you are doing, you're doing a digital transformation. We are just passing kind of the first year of our transformation, where we are more or less creating, or more or less we are redoing everything. So it's kind of a challenge. Our business is growing meanwhile, so yeah. So the digital transformation now means that we can't only focus on business, we also need to include digital in everything we do. And our digital transformation is divided into 4 parts: meeting the customer, bridging the gap, so we really have a good customer experience. We also need to make sure that our coworkers in the store has also the same information as you have as a customer, which has been also a gap for us, that sometimes the customer can go to a store, a coworker in the stores and provide more information from the website and from the customer-facing app than they have in their own solutions. And then we also are re-architecturing our entire IT landscape. So we have a new foundation, creating data lakes, creating an event-driven architecture, and so on. So we will really be a data-driven company. And then in the end, to have a digital DNA, I would say. So we will be more or less a software company as well in the end. Okay, we'll just show you some facts and figures for last year, and then we'll jump into how you deal with the edge at IKEA, or how we are handling the edge at IKEA. Okay, so let's jump into why you're here. So at IKEA, we have centralized our CDN delivery and also team for 15 years. It was 15 years ago we started to be engaged with Akamai in order to fix slow performing websites. And we have continued with that to centralize it. But we have, in order to be flexible and relevant, we have structured it, the entire delivery of it, in order to be successful, I would say. So I will go through a bit of the structure of how we are working with it. Since, I mean, in a big enterprise, I have more than 350 legal entities behind me that I need to make sure are happy, and also that they get a good delivery. So I have a big responsibility in that. So we have really focused on having a good management layer, including myself, then that we are really vocal about our portfolio of services, and also that we are actively performing internal pre-sales. And I guess for many of you, pre-sales could sound like a bad word, but it's actually what you need to do. You have a good and potentially big agreement with Akamai that you want to use. You should be able to get the most back for the money. So really, really utilize it to the fullest. We are also focusing with dedicated resources for solution design and innovation to really be on the edge with new solutions, I would say, and that you really are dedicating a part of the team just focusing on new patterns. Also something that is really, really crucial for us to keep, to be a relevant player and also to get a large portion of responsibility for our e-commerce business and also for the store preparation that we do on the website is to follow up that our delivery is working well as well. Not just once, but all the time, and especially after a big configuration change or when we are introducing a new architecture. And business operations support is not to be mixed up with the normal incident management. For us, it does mean that we have dedicated an entire team that is working with our consumers to really make sure that their implementation and their solution, which is including Akamai, is working to the fullest. So this is a team that is working every day to make sure that their experience is good. And we have divided that team from the break-fix support that we have in order really to be dedicated and also available for our consumers. And then the last step, which I will go into more deeper, is the DevOps, or the 3 modes of how you can be flexible, which we are currently implementing. We'll go through that more.
So I think that this is really interesting, and I know we're going to go into detail on all of the different
Yes.
layers, but you guys have been very involved with Akamai from a customer advisory board perspective, so helping to steer the direction that the products are taking, and you've been very vocal about the things that we're doing correctly and the things that you'd like to see changed. But it's been really helpful to drive some of the implementations of our APIs, making some of our automation more powerful, making the APIs faster, and actually rationalizing the language, which I think has been super helpful and instructive for all of our teams, and it's actually driven a lot more consistency in the architecture within Akamai. When I look at solution design and innovation, I think the fascinating thing to consider is that IKEA really does take advantage of Akamai in the way that some people don't necessarily believe that DevOps works in a real company. They're using us, you're using us from a code perspective. You've got edge-side include implementations, you're baking us into the applications themselves. You're using us through testing and heavy users and very sophisticated users of the Impulse solution. And then from an actual operations perspective, some of what you were referring to with business operations support is the real-time supportability of the products on the platform. And when we look at some of the things that we introduced on the main stage yesterday, and then again this morning, IKEA has been very helpful in helping us drive what businesses need to see from the ability to support their stakeholders in real time once an application is live on the internet. So I know we're going to dive into it in more detail, but let's jump in.
Absolutely. Okay, so management and internal pre-sales. So we have centralized the governance in order to collect requirements and also to drive more or less the relationship at one direction. If you have decentralized the governance of your Akamai experience, then it will be different voices towards Akamai. And I mean, for us, it has been really, really a success story that we have centralized and also done internal prioritization of what we should focus on, what products we should focus on making, trying to make Akamai prioritize to make better, and also what things in the solutions that we have in the landscape that is not really working so well, where Akamai can come in and do a difference. It's also very good that you can collect the volume as well behind you. So since I have 350 companies behind me, it also creates a big volume. And we have not gone into a multi-cloud or multi-CDN setup also due to that. I mean, if you remove some of the good things you have on the negotiation table, if you don't have the volume with you, and that is also very much inherent according to the normal negotiation tactics that we have at IKEA. We are big and we use the volume to our
To your benefit, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Something that we have, which is really cool, and I hope you can also speak with your account team about it, if you can get some intel about your brand presence on internet. So we are very much in collaboration with the Akamai Stockholm office to get information about what is happening on the internet. Is there any new campaign website that is popping out without being protected or onboarded to Akamai, or even running on another CDN? So I get kind of a monthly fee from the account team that I can act on in order not to lose any money, but also to make sure that they are protected and also are gaining our experience. And then, of course, as well, that you're active in your pre-sales, that you create forums, that you create relationship with many stakeholders. Also, it's very important that you meet the senior product owners to really make sure that they understand what the importance of being on the edge. So we're coming from delivering it as an infrastructure service to actually be a part of the business operations or business performance area. So we need to be there and to be vocal about our part of the food chain in a way. So.
Well, and you've been, I mean, when you say CDN here, and before you were mentioning Edge, you guys use this for a lot more than just distribution and caching. I mean, you're using every element of the platform, from performance monitoring and optimization to find problems, fixing them with performance acceleration, image optimization, video management now, and using security solutions obviously as well.
Absolutely.
So when you say driving awareness, I think one of the things that's critical from a DevOps perspective is, as IKEA engineers are building solutions, making them aware of what the edge can do for them to make it easier for them to focus on differentiating the brand, as opposed to just solving problems that we could solve at the edge, has been really important to the success of our partnership.
Absolutely. So yeah, and also that is something that we will keep also centralized, I would say, the security bits and pieces, even if we are now creating a new cybersecurity division, that we will try to incorporate as much as possible into this. Next part, the solution design and innovation. So we need to drive innovation and create new patterns all the time, because what is hot today will be obsolete tomorrow. And also there will always come in new attack vectors and everything else. All the way with the microservice implementation, we really had to make sure that we were thinking in new ways. Also, to be a part of the CI/CD pipelines, we also had to create new patterns in order to them to integrate Akamai publishing into their pipeline. Something that is really that has been a success for us is that we are always involved in kind of all the betas that Akamai is delivering, and we are saving a tremendous amount of time of doing that, because then we potentially already have a pattern available on the shelf that can be used when the need is arriving. So I would recommend you all to invest more time in it if you can, because when the requirement is popping up, you already have something that you can implement. And organize as well. Don't just organize for the operations bits and pieces. Also organize so you can actually work on improving and drive innovation, and also make sure that you have at least a day a week or a day every second week, where you have the engineers to more deep dive and learn about new things as well. And then, of course, continue to invest in a team. We have been adding 1 to 2 coworkers every 3 months now, just in order to really grow with the need. And since more and more things are happening on the edge, I think this is something that we will continue to do, because we will maintain more and more responsibility for our business performance.
So I think one area here that's especially relevant from a product roadmap perspective, and those roadmap sessions are happening throughout the balance of today, so you'll have an opportunity to engage if any of this is interesting to you. But what Mats and the team have been really instrumental in doing is helping us understand the granularity of control that you need. So from a DevOps perspective, for example, if we're creating APIs to help you automate processes with Akamai, and we're helping you integrate into a CI/CD pipeline, one of the things that we need to understand is the granularity of control that you need depending on how your teams operate. In the IKEA case, there is a need for very, very granular control all the way down to the individual property level. But the property is defined by IKEA, which is a website, not a CP code as some people are used to on Akamai or at the account level, like some businesses are able to standardize. And so without that input in the beta phase, by the time we go GA with a product, we could be at a situation where we have a solution that we're very excited about, but it's something that's unusable because of the granularity that you need. And so we've been able to work through a lot of these before the products go GA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so something that I will bring up later on is the authorization model which Akamai is providing is not really working for us because we have so many companies behind us with so many product teams that we don't want to make sure that they're not allowed to touch each other's configuration. So we need the granularity, and we are creating it ourselves at the moment, but we hope that Akamai can help us in the future for that as well. The next step, which I will go through, is business performance and follow-up. So be proactive. Do a regression test as well, not just let the product team do it yourself as well. So we can really be fast and either roll back or roll forward. So really make sure that your team is giving this requirement, because you will save a tremendous amount of time and also potentially escalations will not arrive to your table if you do this good. But not only when you're doing a new configuration, make sure that you also have mPulse dashboards close to your desk so you can always see the consumer, the customer interaction with the website, the bounce rate, the conversion rate, and so on, to really see that we are doing good. And as well, as I said, don't underestimate a good dashboard. So take some time. Make sure that you have the dashboards that you can show officials whenever they are visiting the office or the team, so you can really show what we're doing and the impact of it. We're using a lot of monitoring tools, and also we are collecting a lot of logs. So we kind of become a good monitoring team as well in this. And we're currently exploring data stream and putting more and more demands to Akamai to include even more data sets there. Everything can be better, I would say. Something that is really interesting now is that we will move a lot of Akamai data into Splunk to really start, hopefully also using machine learning to find things that we don't have the capacity to see ourselves.
The interesting thing here for any of you who are interested is later on, if you go down to the expo hall, we've got some of our partners from a monitoring perspective. So some of our customers, for example, don't realize that we have SIM integration that makes it much easier to get your data into Splunk. That we've partnered with Rigor, for example, so that you can add synthetic monitoring on top of the real user monitoring that we provide in mPulse, or with Datadog, so that you can consolidate all of this data together and actually have that one good dashboard. So there's things that you can take advantage of and learn in the expo hall as well that's tied to this point. So
we are using the CM integrator for that, or we will. We're just starting. So business operations support. So also, it's a lot of discussion or a lot of information about investing here, I would say. Right now we have 7 people in this centralized team, so it's not too many, I would say. But they are then also supported by 12 engineers for the break fix, for the 24/7 web operations support, including the middleware and so on, and API infrastructure. But I mean, you need to make sure that you have enough resources to take care of your consumers if it's not incident driven. You need also to make sure that you can put time to problems, to investigations, and exploration. And also make sure that you are available where your consumers are. So make sure that you're involved in the Slack channels, that you are having your information available on Confluence, that they can report issues on Jira or whatever tool you have. Make sure that you have many channels available so you are relevant as well, and that you can also help out with the digital transformation. Not just using the normal ITIL products in order to get contact. So you need to be open. So we have really put in some energy into that. And self-serve is something that we're really striving for also in this group in order to get a good onboarding exercise, to really make sure that everything is automated. So we can really move the applications into standard patterns as soon as possible. And then also make sure that you can also give them the possibility to get data about what's going on with their application. As I mentioned already as well, so don't mix and match the business operation support with the break fix. The business operation support today is kind of the third level internally with us, which is also the experts internally for the CDN challenges. And then it's really important that we're building trust as well with the stakeholders and with the product teams. And we are doing that with having dedicated engineers towards different areas, business areas at IKEA. So we can really also upscale our engineers to understand more about the application needs itself. And then we can really create a good value in the end. Now I will move into DevOps, the 3 modes, which is kind of just to be another word for being flexible, I would say. So managed support is kind of the no dev, only ops way, where we just are receiving requirements of onboarding a new application to the CDN, where we are doing all the work ourselves. We have something called managed participation, where we actually are when we are deploying a new architecture or designing a new web application, then I'm borrowing out the CDN engineer from my team, from the centralized team, in order to make sure that the fundamentals are there, and that also that we have all the right products and services available, or if we need to buy them or make sure that Akamai deliver them anyway. So, but we want to really end up in the last step here, which we call the managed core function, where the developers are the ones that is managing their own configuration. So the ops piece in this is actually behind the scenes. So this is the normal use case, which is the standard case for us as well, is more or less that we are helping a product team to achieve their Akamai experience, where we're using standard patterns, which were built up during 15 years, where we are adding the standard configurations, we're adding the buff, we're adding more or less all the tools that is available on the platform. And then, but it's very much that we deliver something, they do a regression test, and then we don't hear anything more from them for quite some time in most of the cases. And then we need really to make sure that they are happy by communicating back to them. So it's not an ideal place to be. The next step is, of course, the ideal place to be if you should really be on spot with the future, to really have a CDN engineer or an expert in the product team. But this is not possible to have at IKEA, because we have too many product teams, so we can't really scale as well. All product teams can't have experts on edge cases. So we just do it when we're creating something new, we do it, but otherwise we try to be in this mode as little as possible. So what we are aiming then for is to have a centralized CDN team, which then could be, of course, impacted by having too many product teams that are chasing to get support at the same time. So we have had issues with that, of course, where different IKEA companies have reached out to us to get support, and it could be overwhelming, could be very stressful. And then we had to do internal prioritizations, kind of, okay, what should we focus on first and for all? Normally it's the e-commerce business, of course, but we also have a very prioritized project going on, or a product team with API management. We're really, because we are more or less trying to remove all the monoliths, creating microservices, making sure that source systems have business APIs. So we also have very big, important initiatives that is on Akamai API Gateway as well, and so on. And we also have other big and important stakeholders that want time from us. So what we have worked on now for the last, I think, 6 months is to create our own portal, actually. So we can actually provide self-serve capabilities now to the engineers. And those are based on open APIs from Akamai. So we're really happy that they have started to focus on DevOps and making sure that we also can start to scale our business. And that we can create applications then that can make the product teams manage their own configuration and also make it more advanced and making sure that they can take care of the most simple requests as purging their own cache and so on.
I think what's fascinating about this, though, is that in this model, it can be very stressful. And you've talked to us about how stressful it can be to have this many stakeholders constantly making demands on you.
Yep.
But creating a dashboard sort of approach like this, it helps you with standardization of how they consume services. It helps you communicate with those stakeholders of what services are available. But because they can self-serve, it also helps you to focus on the bigger problems or the more strategic initiatives that they want support with, so that you can help them make the best use of your contract with Akamai, but also make their applications as successful as possible, as efficiently as possible.
Absolutely. I'm just showing the portal, how it looked like a couple of weeks ago. I had to record it because I didn't think that the corporate network would be available in here. So here we have a lot of apps that is kind of under construction right now. We just kind of launched it, but we have a good pace. I think we're delivering at least 1 to 2 apps per month now. It has been a real success so far, and we already have consumers on it. So it's really cool. Yes, I hope that this session was an inspiration of, if you are in an enterprise mode or in enterprise company, that there is actually ways to structure it and formalize it in a way that you can be available for the many product teams, and not splitting apart your centralized team if you have one. There is ways around that, actually. Yes. So that was my last slide, so thank you very much for listening. I just wonder if you have any questions. Yes.
We just need to wait 1 second for the microphone, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your experiences with IKEA. My question is, if you don't mind sharing, how big is your CDN team and how many developers do they support?
So the CDN team consists of 7 people today, and they are backed up by a 24/7 team as well, which is consisting of 12 people. And we have roughly 20 product teams that we are interacting with at the moment. So 20 times 10, it's 200 then, kind of. So it's quite a lot of engineers to not only help, but also to educate, I would say. We have a lot of education going on. And also we are in all continents as well, so we also have the time difference challenge as well. So that's why, of course, Slack has been awesome for us in order to communicate pretty, I would say, transparent, even if we're not available all the time. So.
We are doing something similar in our company, and one of the struggles that I'm finding is that the same people that should work on, let's say, on developing the new things are the same that are working on the day-to-day job. So let's say we are in a very similar situation. We have many different service team, we call service team, development team, asking us things. So the difficulties that I have, I was trying to find a way to free up time for the team to work in the development, let me call this, in order to create, for example, the portal, while I still need to keep up pace to what the business is asking, what the development teams or service team are doing. How you manage this complexity?
So it's quite challenging, I would say, but in the end, we need to prioritize those requests that is actually impacting sales, I would say, in the end. So we kind of, sometimes I mean, everyone is talking about agile, But we are coming from operations, from infrastructure. We've always been agile. We'll always be flexible because we need to attend critical issues. If something is red, we need to fix it. So we have that mindset in the team already to quickly adjust the day according to what we have in front of us. But I have a few of the senior engineers. You have one next to you there, Johannes, have been dedicated to build a platform. So I've been moving him away from the daily operations in just to set the foundation, and then he is delegating kind of what application that needs to be created, what APIs that is preferred, and also to set the structure of, okay, we need to have some sort of chain of commands in these platforms. You activate something, and then a lot of things are happening in a structured way, which is kind of complex and complicated, and it requires some serious development efforts. And then you can't be engaged in operations at the same time. So for us, it has been put away a few senior engineers until the foundation is ready.
Just a quick question on this is that how the team received the news. This is a non-technical question, meaning you know that the human being is like it is. So if I will say, I was thinking to do something, we are doing something like this, but sometimes we are having really, we are struggling with the people that say, why he is working on the new cool stuff while I still need to work on the day-to-day job and the ticket coming in. No, that's I don't know if you have this experience.
So right now I would say that Johannes and a few other senior engineers are really seeing the optimistic part of this as to be a good Python developer, for example. So they're really uplifting themselves in order to be relevant for the future as well, because our infrastructure setup will be different. And then we have also members in the team that is not that eager to jump into something new. They would like to carry on with the standard business. So I have I'm in a good situation because I have people that are really dedicated, but they want to work with different things. So, yeah.
Is it a goal of your team with the core ops model to reduce the need for CDN experts to some extent, to reduce that bar? So, I mean, a lot of common functionality is like, oh, I route it to my origin and cache based on our TTLs. That's probably like 90% of the use cases, and they really don't need an expert. But if they're thrown into Akamai config, they really need to know everything.
So we are kind of the layer between Akamai and the developers or the software engineers. So those, I would say, we are managing those basic questions. We are making sure that whenever a new application is onboarded, we ask those questions. But what we do in the self-serve portal is as well that we will make sure that it's an automatic validation of your input. So make sure that all the information that is required is there. But if you can't fill it in, all the values, then we will be there to help you as well. But that's also part of the education. I mean, in order for us to scale, it was either then to grow the team more, to be having dedicated personnel in each product team, or it was to create the self-serve platform, more or less. And we went for that because that was also the most, I would say, consciousness decision, cost-effective decision for us as well. And also, we think that we can automate the most of the experience in the end. So this is a good start for us.
Matt? Hi, it's Mark.
Hi, Mark.
First of all, I want to say thank you on behalf of Akamai EMEA as Managing Director here, to have you come and share the way you have. And for the audience, this is one of the most complex accounts that Akamai has in EMEA and globally. And so please take the time to invest with Mats. He's a quiet Scandinavian, but he knows where all the bodies are buried. So he really can provide you with great insight into the complexity of working at this level. So again, Mats, just thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thank you to all our clients to come here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're just about out of time. If you have other questions, Mats will be around. I'll be around. Mark will be around if you have Akamai-centric questions. But thank you all very much for your time and attention. And all of the slides, by the way, from this presentation and the rest of the show will be available in the coming weeks. So watch out on Akamai.com and the Edgeworld microsite, and we'll make those available to you. But Mats, thank you very much.
Thank you. And